I heard that you have the silver medal curse, where you go through interview rounds only to hear the company say, "We liked you, but we went with someone else." You get the silver medal when really what matters is getting that golden job offer. As a fairy job mother, I have helped thousands of people break this curse, and you're next. And stay to the end because I will include real audio from a job interview and break down what could be improved so that you can finally have that breakthrough of what you need to do to improve your interview performance. I have to say, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, so good to meet you in this little corner of the internet. I'm Madeline Mann. I am a human resources leader and job search strategist who turns job seekers into job shoppers. You may recognize me from being a top job search instructor on Spotify and LinkedIn Learning, or you may have seen me on ABC, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, and more. Subscribe so you can get new videos to elevate your career. I have interviewed thousands of people while working in human resources, and I have also helped thousands of job seekers transform their interview approach through coaching. And I will walk through the top 3 most common things that lose people the job offer. Now, the thing we have to agree on up top is that if you are landing interviews and not offers, the issue is not your experience. It's your interview performance. I know you will get feedback saying that you have certain skill gaps and that's the reason you didn't get the offer. But if that truly was a deal breaker, they would have filtered you out at the application stage. You failed to instill confidence during the interview process and proactively squash any hesitations. Just like my client, James, who was rejected in 4 final round interviews, but was able to transform his approach.
I went 0 for 4 before I joined you guys. And then I went 4 for 4, 100%, 4 different offers. Felt like I had a competitive advantage, or like I knew the secret formula. I did so well on one of them that the head of HR actually called the interview panel and said, "We've never seen scores this high. Are you sure he's not slipping you money? Are you sure that this is actually true?"
James changed absolutely nothing about his experience. He gathered no additional certifications and didn't suddenly have some magical connections inside these companies. Nope, what James did is he became a job shopper. He began implementing job shopping techniques to be an irresistible candidate to the hiring panel. It got to the point where these hiring teams got FOMO, thinking, "Oh no, we need to hire James. We can't live without him." And that is what you're going for. To dive into some of these job shopping strategies, I will link a free masterclass below. The first approach that could be ruining your chances of landing the offer is being unfocused. You are a camera. Such as, you'll be asked, "Why do you want to work at this company? Why do you want this role? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?" And your answers to these questions should be specific and not generic. If the company senses that you are waffling between different types of roles or have a greater interest in other industries, they will find you too risky of a hire. They worry you're going to take this job and then leave as soon as you get an offer for something that is closer to what you're interested in. For example, if you were asked, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" and you focus on getting that next title or so up, and they were already worried that you may be a bit overqualified for the role, they simply will not hire you because they are nervous that you're going to find this role a snooze. Or let's say you're interviewing for a digital marketing role in home appliances, and you say in 5 years you'd like to transition to product marketing in the fashion industry. They will say, "Adios, muchacho," because they know you don't really want this role and you'll leap at the chance to leave to join your actual preferred industry the first chance you get. For you, maybe these examples seem obvious, though they do happen all the time. So an example from my career is that I was once hiring an executive assistant for the CEO, and we invited an accountant who applied to interview. That's a big career pivot, but I was seeing the transferable skills, so I invited her. But I wanted to make sure that this was an actually calculated move and that she knew what she was getting herself into with this career change. So I asked her, what steps have you taken to be sure that being an executive assistant is the right next career move for you? And she said, well, taking this interview. This is my first step. Her chances of landing the job ended there because there's too big of a risk for a company to hire someone only for them to realize a few months into the job that this isn't exactly what they wanted, which then damages the morale of the team and is a huge time and money drain due to their exit. You have to do the whole hiring process over again. It's a mess. Therefore, you need to go into the interview clearly articulating why this is the right next step. You might be watching this and thinking, Madeline, I'm not actually sure what I want in my next step. Well, you need a systematic way to get clear. And no, the solution is not taking job opportunities until you find one you actually like. We are not tasting gelato flavors here. This is part of the job shopping strategy I mentioned earlier, so you can see that free class for some approaches on how to focus and revamp your job search. I will also link videos where I deep dive into exactly how to answer these more specific questions of why this role, why should we hire you, and where do you see yourself in 5 years, so you can dial in those answers. I'm not going to talk about all of those here because maybe you don't need help on each of those, and then this video would be super long. But those videos are all free for you to enjoy and level up. Let's talk about the next reason candidates are consistently rejected in the job interview. Job interviewers put your communication style under a microscope in an unnatural way. And what many candidates don't realize is if you are qualified enough to land the interview, how you explain things in the interview is consistently more important than objectively what you accomplish. Therefore, a massive reason I see candidates rejected is due to rambling. Rambling gives you the impression that you do not have structured thinking and you are an ineffective communicator. This spells disaster if you are going to lead a team or be a manager leading others. These communication breakdowns are detrimental to team productivity. And the number one question people ramble during is, tell me about yourself. So I created a worksheet, which I will link below, that has helped thousands of people perfectly answer that question. Often one of the major reasons why people ramble is because they are trying to find the answer while answering the question. We also ramble in interviews because we are sometimes saying an idea for the first time out loud when we're in the interview. You should never explain a concept or past work experience for the first time in the interview. And I know this can seem impossible to predict what a company is going to ask. But a key job shopping strategy is to both predict the interview questions, but also steer the interview in a direction that is easier for you to answer. Overall, you need to understand what the companies are looking for, then find the glory in your story and get the right practice and feedback. Practice and preparation is everything. Now, here's the third reason candidates don't land job offers and what to do about it. And this one is hugely common around people who have more than 10 years of professional experience. So if that's you, lean in. The issue is lacking specifics. I have hired many VP and C-level employees, as well as coached them, and you would be astounded at the challenge these folks have at being specific in their interview answers. Here is an example of a VP level person answering the question how she would track progress for a training in an asynchronous environment.
Asynchronous learning is more challenging than synchronous learning, where there is a combination of recording and virtual class interaction. Using an asynchronous program would be challenging and require creativity to measure and track student engagement.
She didn't answer the question. She simply said that it would require creativity. I think she answered this way because she's such a master of her craft and the question appeared simplistic to her, or she truly doesn't have an answer to this question and sits in her ivory tower and has all of her direct reports do all the hard work. Either way, this isn't enough of an answer, not even close. Here she answers the question, how would you learn about new solutions needed for this role?
Just as I did in my prior role, I would immerse myself in all available training to learn about the other solutions.
There is no specificity here. There are no examples. And this is what so many people in higher level positions sound like in their interview answers. And you know what? They aren't getting any job offers because these employers can't picture what it is like to work with this person, because it seems like they're not doing any of the actual work. It sounds like their teams are doing all of the hard work, and these people are just kind of approving things, asking for reports, and playing fantasy football. No one wants to hire an employee like that. But here's the thing. If you're answering things this way, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are bad at your job. It could just mean that you have lots of experiences that it's difficult to pick one example or remember them properly, or be specific when your career is this beautiful mosaic of all kinds of rich experiences that make up your approach to work. You may get asked, tell me about a challenging customer situation that you faced. You confidently say, every day in the past 25 years, I have had this happen all the time. I have mastered handling tough customer situations. And you think that's the truth. And how am I supposed to think of just one example? But that is such an awful answer. I cannot even begin to tell you. You have to fix this. You cannot keep things so general. I know it may seem impossible, but I see it with my clients all the time who have incredible experience in their career and maybe have even been at their company for more than 7 or 8 years. So all of their experience starts to blend together. They are able to get specific. So this is absolutely possible for you. But keep in mind, this is also important for people of all levels of their career to be more specific. I will link a video below on behavioral interviewing. If this is your issue, it's going to help you a lot. I have amassed millions of views on my content about behavioral interviewing. Be sure to check that out. I'll link it in the comments and the description. So no matter who you are, what level you are, what interviewer you have, make sure you appear focused in your answers. Avoid rambling and be specific. Which of these 3 do you struggle with most in the interview? Is it number 1 and 3? Is it just number 2? Is it all 3? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see which of these pop up most commonly. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. You've got this. Wi-Fi high five.